Thanks for joining the HomeMatters podcast with Eric and Gena Boggs, where they lead authentic, raw discussions about marriage, family life, kids, intimacy, and sex from a biblical perspective. Now here's your host, Eric and Gena Boggs.
Oh, wow. He's starting out laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. It's podcast 34. I'll take over because Eric's having a moment over here.
I'm sorry.
This is still
Well, welcome to HomeMatters.
That's right.
We're glad you joined us today. I don't know why I got so tickled there, but I think you were giving me some instructions that I don't think I was quite picking them up. Y'all know what I'm talking about, guys. You know what I'm talking
I was trying
about. They say
to tell you
things.
something.
They say things. They think that we know what they're talking about. Y'all ever have that happen? Like all of a sudden, out of the blue, there's this random thought that comes out of her mouth, and you're like,
No, it wasn't random.
where did that come from? Were we talking about that?
Sorry.
Y'all know what I'm talking about, guys. Some of you know what I'm talking about
Sorry.
anyway.
I got him all tickled at the beginning. It's not hard to get him tickled. So. But that's a good thing. I'm glad you're happy. You feeling good today?
Always.
Thank you, Lord.
Most all the time.
That's right. Hey, podcast 34. I like this topic. We're still talking about
love. It's the love month, right?
That's right. And this is so good, though. This is straight out of 1 Corinthians 13. I love it here. And the title of this podcast, here it is, The Tenacity.
The tenacity of love.
Yeah, the tenacity.
Yeah, you know, we talk to different people, a lot of pastors out there that we talk to. And again, we just encourage them to find a place. And again, we hope that we always encourage this. I mean, man, that love, the love that God places in us, you know. And again, we're talking about different kinds of love again, but again, the kind of love that God puts in us. And
we're talking about pastors, though. What were you going to say right there?
Well, just this whole thing of tenacity and loving with like a never give up kind of heart and mind and that kind of determination.
Right. I think that tenacity of love really has to be in all aspects, you know, in loving people in general, pastors, you know, pastors' wives, in loving our congregation, of course, in loving the Lord. But in this particular aspect in our relationship, just the tenacity of love.
I think, though, that with that, what you're saying, it's easy for us to love everybody except sometime. With that kind of tenacity,
you mean
I
the
think
people that we're closest to.
Yeah, I think it's so easy for us to, you know. I think even I mentioned pastors in ministry. I think a lot of times it's easy for them to have patience and kindness. You know, all those things we read in 1 Corinthians 13.
Are you speaking from experience, Pastor?
I think so. I mean, again, it's easy for us to have patience and kindness and excuse me. You know, those kinds of things like. What are some of the others? Love is patient, kind, is not jealous, doesn't brag, doesn't act wrong. And again, we can keep everything in line out there sometime. We keep everything in line in front of everybody and then get home.
Right.
And that's the part that really, to me, is what counts.
Absolutely.
And she knows this. We know this together. It's not that, you know, that we have it all, everything ironed out and everything perfect, but man, I refuse to play the life of a hypocrite and go out and love everybody. And then this woman, the greatest struggle I have probably is with patience with people that are close to me, because probably I expect too much sometimes or too demanding. But again, I don't want to play the hypocrite and love everybody out there.
God help
and have a tenacity and have this never give up on people, and we give up on each other.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where this came from. I'm just kind of reading through this passage, and I see all these definitive adjectives that we see here, that
what love is,
how love is described. And again, it's patient, it's kind, it's not jealous, doesn't act wrong.
Not rude.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then verse 7 in the NLT, in the New Living Translation, it says this. It says, love never gives up. And I love that. I love the thought there. Love never gives up. And I thought, man, that's a tenacious kind of love.
That's so true.
That we're called to in this relationship.
Marriage relationships. I mean, that is what we are in need of today in couples. I mean, we know what the divorce rate is. We know, it's not a lot different in the church than it is outside the church. Yeah. It is different, however, with couples who, make studying God's word, priority and it's more than just going to church, right? That's what I'm trying to say there. But we need that so in relationships today, that people just get that tenacity that says, I will not give up. I mean, the other part of that verse there says they never lose faith. They're always hopeful. Yeah. And how much we need that type of love in the marriage relationship. Yeah,
listen to this last piece of it. It endures every situation. Oh. That's love. Love that's that committed. Every situation. And again, you were talking about this earlier. We're talking about where you'd read this stat where couples who go through crisis are on the verge of calling it quits. What did you say, 2 to 5 years later?
Yeah, if they stay together. In 5 years, like 3/4 of them are in such a better place. Glad they stayed together at a much deeper level of their love and their intimacy. And that's, if they just were tenacious about that word again, about staying together, about through every circumstance,
loving through every situation,
not
right?
Hope. Not giving up.
And you may be out there today listening and thinking, you don't know what I mean. All we're saying is this: find some tenacity.
That's right.
I mean, again, you should never have quit as a part of the equation anyway.
Right.
If you join together, man and woman out there, that you're married. If you went into marriage with this always a part of the equation, you made that mistake. Number one. Let's not make the second mistake and make it an option, right? So we're just saying that maybe there's a place in your life that you just gotta be tenacious in your love relationship, your commitment to that, and again, I just think that
get some fight in you.
Yeah, it's so we're so.
Not some fight like
I'm gonna get, but again, I kind of feel like I get out of popular culture here and political correctness, but. We're so soft anyway now. We're taught in so many ways that we just, we don't have to put up with difficulties, and you got to make sure that I'm taken care of, and you got to make sure that, that I'm not offended, and all this stuff. We're so soft as a whole culture, as a entirety.
And a lot of that just comes back to selfishness.
Yeah, but it comes to home, and we see it in relationships where, I don't have to live. I'm going to make myself happy. Well, have at it. But I found that the people who live their lives just to make themselves happy are the most miserable people on the planet. And if you're looking just to be happy, you're probably going down the wrong lane. You're probably headed in the wrong direction. And I hope you don't find yourself at that place where you have to experience the pain of that direction in your life.
So true, man. Just see it through. I mean, fight for your relationship. Like you would fight for your way.
Yeah.
We want our way, and we want it, as Eric said, it's just we want what we want. And you hear the comment so much, I don't have to put up with this. I don't have to live this way. And I will say this, you don't have to live in the mess you're living in now. That's not what God intended for you. But you do have to be tenacious enough to fight for what God has for you.
Yeah. I just believe that if you're at a bad place, we're not asking you to stay in a bad place.
Right.
If you're at a place you're saying, I'm not going back to that relationship, I'm not going to work this thing out. We're not even saying, hey, you just get back in there and just tough it out. We're saying that we believe that if you're tenacious about this love, your commitment to one another, then you'll find yourself not at the same place, but you'll grow from it. Through the crisis, you'll find a great opportunity, right, to grow and for your love to become richer and deeper and stronger. That's and all of those adjectives that we could add there. But again, it's just the love relationship. We're just saying that Paul says there, he said, don't let love ever be given up on.
That's right.
I always realize you just keep at it. You just stay at it. And in the marriage relationship, we think that, boy, that is so important.
Right. I think we need to point out here, just so many couples, they say we don't love or I don't love anymore. And most of the time, what they're saying is, I don't feel love anymore. But you know, you've said it so many times, and we've taught it. If you ever loved, you know, if you love them, I mean, that love is still there. Yeah. And we fail to work at it. We fail to nurture that love and that care. And then the feeling of love is gone. Right. But man, fight for.
Usually, what couples are saying there is a romantic love has left, and they
don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, but what we've held to is love never fails, as it says here in this same chapter. Love never fails, and what we're saying with that is love never goes away. The type of love may change. Yeah. Again, if you're not nurturing that eros, that romantic kind of love, if you're not nurturing that, then it may be kind of exited the building, but at the same time, you still, if you ever loved, you still do. And I'll go to my grave believing that. I've talked with couples who've, been divorced from, or people who've been divorced from somebody for years. And I've asked the question several times, do you still feel love for them? They say, yeah, definitely. Still feel love for them. It's not the same kind, not the way I felt when I was, getting ready to marry them. But yeah, I still have love. I still have a commitment. Still have some concern for them. Right. And again, there's a place in our lives that's something that I think that we've got to realize that love don't just vanish away.
That's right. It doesn't just go away. And talking about tenacity for love, let's just break that word down a little bit with tenacity. I love this. The word itself is really from a Latin word. And listen to the meaning. It means not easily stopped or pulled apart. When we're talking about relationships now, okay, it's courage. It's the mental or moral strength to resist opposition.
Wow,
I think that's so good because, listen, you're going to have opposition, right? In relationships, there's going to be opposition. In marriage, you're going to have opposition. Look, the strength to resist the opposition, the danger, or the hardship. Yeah. There are times when it will be hard. Right? Yeah. There'll be tough things we come up against.
But if you're tenacious, you've got the strength, right?
That's right.
To face that opposition, to face the thing that's trying to tear you apart, and say we're going to get on the other side of it anyway.
Right. And let it make you stronger together.
Takes a lot of work. Again, takes a lot of effort. Take the quit out. Put the effort in. Right. That's right. So again, there's that place in our life that. And as couples, a lot of times we run into those places in life that it's the little things that have started piling up. Yeah. And Song of Solomon said it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. We put aside, and we've got this reserved place, or we've got this preserved for, what's coming. And, little by little, something's tearing away at it, or it's taking it apart. And again, we see that in our relationship so many times in our marriage relationships where we allow the little things just to slip in.
They just pile up, really. Yeah. They just, build walls between us. Little things that we never really deal with or talk about, or, they just continue to build and until we're in that hardship, that tough place. And then the choice comes if we're going to quit, as you said, or we're going to put the effort in to work. To see the romance restored, to see the intimacy restored, to see the relationship renewed. I mean, it can happen. I mean, in our years, Eric and I have, spoken with so many couples and, just in this ministry itself. And so many times when even I would say, wow, I just don't know, if that particular couple, it's going to take a miracle. But you know what? I've seen the miracle. So,
God is able to bring about.
He is so able.
If we surrender to Him, our commitment to Him, our love commitment to one another, again, I think that sometimes we just have to go back to the vows that we made. Yeah. Those solemn promises that we made.
And the I wills.
Yeah. Right? The thing that we stood there and said, I promise to love you through the good and the bad, through the days where there's plenty.
The thing is, none of us really expected any of that stuff to pop up. I promise to do this and that,
Maybe so.
They just didn't think anything. Most couples think they're the perfect couple, right? And so they're not really going to experience any of those things that they vowed to. But the fact
you mean on wedding day, they
day,
think they're
right.
the perfect couple.
Yeah, they just think none of those things they vowed to are going to come. But listen, anybody can make a vow. Anybody can make a promise, but it takes that tenacity in our life to see that thing through. I mean, to live it through, to
there are probably people that are listening today, listening to this podcast, that you're on the verge of maybe giving in or giving up, and you feel like you want to anyway. Today, I just believe this is a special day for you in the sense that we're just saying that, man, if you just remember the commitment that you made, and things may not be great right now, but don't let that lead you to a place that you're giving up, that you're losing hope, that you're not enduring through this time. Listen, it might be that crying endures for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Again, there's that dark place that you're in right now, but you may have heard it said, always a new day starts at the darkest moment of the night. And at midnight, the new day, at midnight, there's actually a new day that started. That's right. And it don't always look like it. It may still be enveloped with darkness, but a new day starts at midnight. And it may be that you're at that midnight place, and we just encourage you to find that the sun is going to rise.
Yeah,
you're in a dark moment, but even in the darkness, it's a new opportunity. It's another day.
So good. Yeah, just be encouraged. I mean, Eric and I, in our own relationship, some of you've heard us tell the story before, but what we're doing right now in HomeMatters ministry, and our appreciation for our relationship and love for one another really was birthed out of a hardship, out of a crisis moment, out of a moment when, we could have been finished, could have been done. But thank God that, there was some tenacity, that maybe he instilled in us to say, hey, that we will not give up. We won't quit. It doesn't feel good right now. It doesn't feel lovely. I don't feel the love like I wanted to feel for the whole relationship.
Yeah, but
what God can do.
What we're saying is just stay committed even when it's not lovely, right?
That's so true.
And again, we say that, and we'll finish with this today. Look, I'm glad God was committed to me.
Absolutely.
I believe that
God.
You see the story, the commitment that God has in His love for us as humanity.
Yeah.
Again, you're listening to this podcast today. This is a Christian, it's Jesus-led podcast. We know that His love for us, His commitment to never give up on broken man, is obvious if you read the book. And we just encourage you to realize that God, in His love, that He did not give up. Jesus felt like quitting.
Yeah, He did.
I often say it's easy to see Jesus in the light of knowing everything and knowing that He would come out on the other side and knowing that He would raise the temple back up in 3 days and all that. And we know, but the fact is He had to go through that midnight.
He did.
He had to endure that midnight. And I'm glad He didn't quit. Glad He didn't give up. And we just say to you today that, again, just honor that kind of love, that kind of commitment. Know that kind of love and that kind of commitment that presses in and gives everything.
That's right.
For what is possible.
That's right. Hey, if you're listening today, don't give up.
Yep.
Hey, be tenacious. Fight for your relationship. Fight for your marriage.
Fight for your marriage.
That's right.
Have a tenacious kind of love.
That's right.
Be crazy about each other. Find that place in your life. We believe it can be restored. Amen.
Marriage is a good thing.
Yeah.
Your home matters.
Yep. Glad you were with us. We'll see you next time.